Well, country music star Toby Keith will have a permanent fixture at a popular southern Oklahoma location.
One of the executive members of Harrah's, and he said, you know, Sammy Hagar is our friend. He said, he's got this Cabo Wabo thing going in Mexico and one up here. He said, why don't we do one with you? And I said, well, you can try.
We catch up with the Oklahoma native to find out about his latest business venture. Get out your mugs and find your favorite green shirt. St. Patty's Day is just around the corner. We have some traditional Irish dishes to share and a sneak peek at a big Irish celebration. Plus, one Big 12 team was without their star player during the tournament. Why Baylor's Brittany Griner was benched. And finally, a group of local students is reinventing a popular 1980s toy. Why they are remodeling the Rubik's Cube. It's all coming up next on News OK TV. This is News OK TV.
This is News OK TV.
Welcome to News OK TV, where NewsOK.com comes to your living room television. I'm Angie Bruss. Country music star Toby Keith is lending his name and his restaurant to a local casino. The Moore native has opened Toby Keith's bar, I Love This Bar and Grill, at the WinStar World Casino just north of the Oklahoma-Texas state line. Now, we caught up with the musician while he was in Thackerville. I am here with Toby Keith, none other than Toby Keith. We're at his newest restaurant location, Toby Keith's I Love This Bar and Grill in WinStar World Casino. Okay, so this is named after, obviously, your hit single, I Love This Bar.
Right.
So how did you come up with this wonderful idea?
It started in Harrah's about 5 years ago or something. And the people at Harrah's, a good friend of mine, Don Marandino, was one of the executive members of Harrah's. And he said, you know, Sammy Hagar is our friend. He said, he's got this Cabo Wabo thing going in Mexico and one up here. He said, why don't we do one with you? And I said, well, you can try. It went really well. And now we have 5 or 6, 7 of them. So it serves a great purpose for me, because not only does it give us a place to hang and all my friends when they're in town, a place to go, but we serve great food and a great atmosphere. But my ties to the military, I've done 145 shows overseas. So when I'm over there, I say, hey, first thing you do when you get home is come in my place, in any of my locations all over the U.S., and show your military ID, and they'll give you a burger and a beer on me and welcome home. You know, it gives me a chance to kind of give them a high five, you know?
That's so neat. Obviously, we can tell you're a true Oklahoman. We just had a press conference and he made a comment about the Texas flag.
We got to do one thing. We got to turn the Texas flag upside down over there. I don't know what the hell is Don't think I'm switching sides just because we're on the Texas line.
What's up with that?
Well, I knew there's 90. We're right on the Texas line here, so most of the population that comes in here is Texas clientele. So I had to dig at them a little bit, but I got all my Sooner gear up in here, so they know I'm a Sooner. So if they're here eating in my place, they already know.
It's a friendly rivalry,
yeah,
though.
It is.
Okay. So what is your favorite when you come here? What is the choice on the menu for you? What do you generally like to get?
Well, I mean, I usually get like the steak. The bone-in ribeye is cooked over wood, and it's just really difficult to find a great steak. And Hal Smith, who's the operators of my restaurant, cooks our bone-in ribeyes. They get great bone-in ribeyes first, and then they cook them over wood, so it tastes like when you cook at your house. So when you go out and eat, it tastes like you cooked outside on the campfire. It's really good. And so I usually get that. And then I've got my signature, always have my signature fried bologna sandwich that everybody laughs at, but it's always the #1 seller, you know.
3 now in Oklahoma.
Yeah, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, and WinStar. And WinStar is one of the biggest casinos to be a part of that. And Anatubby's a great guy. And I've met him several times. He's always really pleasant to work with, and he's always genuinely glad to be in partnership with us. So it ought to be win-win.
There we go. Toby, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And there was a Texas flag actually in that bar. He said that he's going to have to turn that upside down. That made a few people go boo. Now a former state senator has turned filmmaker. Brooks Douglas is bringing his personal life to the big screen. The feature film is being shot right here in the Sooner State. The Oklahoman's Carla Hinton and News OK's Kyle Roberts caught up with the filmmaker and his crew earlier this month.
I'm Carla Hinton reporting for the Oklahoman and NewsOK.com.
Former State Senator Brooks Douglas is in Oklahoma to film a movie called Heaven's Rain, which chronicles a series of events in his life. The movie tells the true story of the 1979 murders of Douglas's parents, the Reverend Richard Douglas and his wife Marilyn. We recently sat down with Brooks Douglas and some of the film crew to discuss this film project.
I had people express an interest in doing a movie before, and I really didn't like the approach that some of those people wanted to, whether it was because they wanted to make it a true crime story, or and then there was the whole issue ultimately of once you give up control to a studio or to another production company, they can do whatever they want to. They can rewrite the script, they can change the characters, they can do whatever they want, and that made me pretty nervous. And so I started writing it, and then Paul Brown, who's written a lot of stuff like this, decided, he teamed up with me to give it structure and to make it into something that would be something audiences would want to watch.
The way we schedule it is it's a 12-hour day, and so if we start at 9, we go 9 to 3, and then lunch is exactly 6 hours in. We take a 45-minute lunch, and then we have another 6 hours after that. So it ends up being about 12 and a half, 13 hours total, but 12 hours worth of work.
Being the sound mixer on feature film means you're recording all the audio that takes place on set, all the dialogue, anything you can possibly get on set. The only things I wouldn't record would be special effects like explosions and things that aren't really happening. It's a good crew, and the actors have been really good, and it's a great story.
I think to me, there are two very important messages, and the biggest one being the issue of forgiveness, and not only that to be able to forgive people for the things that they do to us, but sometimes we create our own problems in the world and in our lives and with other people, and we need to be forgiven by those people as well. And so there's two sides of that, and I think both sides of that come out ultimately in the movie. And I think that is an important message for us today. At a minimum, it's been a little bizarre to see certain setups and know, walking down a hallway, I looked and saw a scene being played out, and I didn't have my headsets on. I couldn't hear the audio, but I knew what was going on in the scene, and then also being able to remember how that actually happened in my life, and that was a little bizarre. And then some of it's been very, very difficult. We already shot the crime scene, and that was particularly difficult. But other things along the way have been much harder than I thought they were going to be. But it's something that I've just had to realize, if we're going to do this movie, we're going to do this story, then there's some of these things I'm just going to have to be willing to go do, and hopefully this is it. We do make a really, really good movie.
Filming in Oklahoma has been great. I live here in Oklahoma City, and I have worked on 7 feature films here in Oklahoma City. And so I am very used to filming here in Oklahoma City, and the biggest advantage is that people are still excited about movies. And so unlike Los Angeles, where just someone walking down the street expects $500 just to pass by, here people actually see the value in movies, and so it's actually really fun. And most of the small towns we go to really enjoy the opportunity to get to meet actors and directors and a lot of the different artists that are in town for that.
Filming in Oklahoma has been terrific. It's seems like a very film friendly, at least OKC is very film friendly, and lots of great locations. I don't see any reason not to shoot in OKC. I've
wanted to do the movie here, and the state, through the incentives, has made it much easier to shoot a movie here. We have such fantastic locations, and people have been so generous and giving with locations, with wardrobe, and because these are set in the 70s and in the 90s, and cars, and things that you've got to find that fit those time periods. And we have an absolutely fantastic crew. Most of them are from Oklahoma. And what I hope happens is that, because I'd like to produce more movies and I'd like to shoot them here. So hopefully the incentives will stay in place, but another part of that is as the crew, the availability of crew becomes more deep, it's going to make it much easier. It's a great place to shoot, and I've really had a great experience, and like to see more of it done.
And the film crew will finish shooting this month and then head back to LA to edit. No word on when the film will be released. Now, earlier this month, Oklahomans flocked to the state fairgrounds to check out the latest and the hottest car designs, but not every model was road ready. Find out about the edible automobiles next. Plus, Baylor star player Brittany Griner was forced to sit out during part of the Big 12 tournament. Why she was sidelined, and our sports team discusses whether the punishment was fair. Coming up on News OK TV.
Hello, this is Mary. I can help you.
Hi, my grandma wants to know how to record my show.
Press the guide button on the remote.
Abuelita, toca el botón guide.
Now find your show on the screen and press record.
Ahora busca el programa en la
Pantalla.
Working hard for every smile. Another reason why Cox is your friend in the digital age.
News OK has a new mobile website, and it works with any internet-enabled cell phone. So you can take News OK with you anywhere. View the full articles, look at the photos, all while munching on lunch. And something I'm interested in, videos. Now you can watch News OK videos no matter where you roam. Smartphones, choose News OK Mobile.
Updated look, easy navigation, videos, News OK Mobile. Dial into News OK's award-winning content, now on your web-enabled cell phone. News OK, Oklahoma's website.
I look up to you for all the things you do. I hope to be like you someday soon.
Working hard for every smile. Another reason why Cox is your friend in the digital age.
Welcome back to News OK TV. The Oklahoma City Auto Show rolled into town earlier this month. All of the latest models were displayed at the state fairgrounds. There were some amazing cars and some amazing treats for guests. We caught up with one special guest who created an edible element at this year's auto show. I am here at the 2010 Auto Show, and I'm here with Ruth, who is actually a baker. She makes cakes. Now, what's going on? How come you're here?
The Auto Show wanted to do something spectacular for their event this year, and so they kind of knew that I'd been on some of the TV shows lately, and so they hired me to make 9 cars that they are premiering here at the Auto Show. And so we got to carve and construct in cake and icing 9 of the coolest cars you'll ever see, and you can eat them.
I love it. I love it. That is such a good idea, and of course I know why she's here, and she needs to be here. This is perfect. I love the cake cars, and I think I saw the actual specialized car, the Jaguar XJ. Tell us about that one.
They sent us some photos of it, and I pulled a couple more off of the internet, and so we carved it. We even did a textured grill to look just like the grill. We molded with our hands and with cake as much as we could to make it look as cool as we could for the car show.
How hard is that? That's got to be difficult.
You can't just start out carving vehicles or carving anything in cake. It does take a little time and practice, and I'm lucky that I've carved a lot of cars over the last 10 years I've had my shop, so that helped today.
Wow. Okay, so also in this particular building, we saw a Jeep.
That's right. The Jeep Rubicon, I think it's really sweet. We, of course, couldn't quite do the roll bars and cake, so those are pipe cleaners, but, everything else is cake and icing, and so I felt really proud of the way it looks. I think you definitely see a Jeep when you look at that. And we also have the VW CC, which is back at the back of this building in the Travel and Transportation building tonight.
Wow, yeah, you did a lot. She did a lot of hard work for this, obviously. So you also have been, like you mentioned, on some television shows. You've won some awards, won some of these shows. Tell us what you did.
Last September, I was really lucky to be featured on 2 television shows, both within 8 days of each other. So I won Wedding Cake Wars on WeTV. It was a one-time special. Competed against 11 other teams and won $1,000 on that one. And then I was asked by a friend to assist her on TLC's new show called Ultimate Cake Off. And we constructed the most amazing 6-foot-tall Uncle Sam cake that we got to display underneath the wings of Air Force One at the Presidential Library. Wow. And she won $10,000 and was invited back. And so we went out a few months ago and filmed another special that airs this coming Monday at 8 p.m. on TLC.
Wow.
I know, and I can't say how we did, but I'm going to recommend that you watch.
There we go. That is exciting. Tell us your website so if people are interested in your amazing cakes.
Sure, it's www.ruthssweetjustice.com, and there is an E at the end of sweet.
Oh, well, how fun. Thank you so much. And obviously, everybody here is going to enjoy these cakes.
Oh, yes, they're very yummy. We have chocolate, white, and strawberry. Every cake, or every car is a different flavor.
And those cars were beautiful, almost too beautiful to eat. Especially that Jaguar. That one was very nice. Now, from stylish edible cakes to traditional Irish fare, our food team is gearing up for St. Paddy's Day here on newsok.com. There are lots of traditional Irish meals served during this time of year, from corned beef to cabbage and boxy, and of course Guinness. But Cheryl Jones is cooking up something a little sweeter, Irish soda bread. She and I were in the kitchen, and we have some tips on baking this customary treat.
I have in here a couple of cups each of whole wheat flour and white flour, and about a half cup of Irish oats.
Oh,
and
perfect for St. Paddy's Day.
Oatmeal, yes. And I have a little soda,
okay,
and a little baking powder, and I have a little bit of salt.
Okay.
That's it. That's all the ingredients except for buttermilk.
Now, for the recipe and other Irish dishes, you can check out Cheryl's Passion for Food articles on newsok.com. And St. Paddy's Day wouldn't be complete without a celebration at Sean Cummings. Last year, the local pub hosted a large party complete with local bands. This year, they have changed locations. They're just down the street near Grand and May now, but their St. Paddy's Day bash promises to be full of Celtic fun. And we will have more on that Irish festival next week on newsok.com, so be sure and keep a lookout for Dave Cathy's interview with Sean Cummings. A group of high school students hit the track for a good cause. Why these young Oklahomans are lacing up for charity. Next on News OK TV.
News OK, Oklahoma's website.
Dave, it is game time.
Angie, News OK is covering OU and OSU football from all the angles.
With photos, videos, live chats, blogs, and text alerts.
From coaches, players, predictions, and analysis.
With the most sports reporters covering the games.
So you'll never miss a thing.
Stay with News OK for your team's latest news.
Powered by the Oklahoman. News OK, Oklahoma's website.
I look up to you for all the things you do. I hope to be like you someday soon. 'Cause I look
Working hard for every smile. Another reason why Cox is your friend in the digital age.
Welcome to the big leagues of high school sports. Varsity, News OK's new high school sports page, featuring the best high school sports coverage anywhere. Varsity dedicates experienced reporters to all the local schools from Edmond to Norman, and everyone and anyone from Goodwill to Idabel. And Varsity allows you to join the coverage. Upload your photos, join the discussion with the Oklahoma's reporters on their blogs, and follow the Twitter feed and live scoreboards. News OK's new high school sports page, Varsity, the best high school sports coverage anywhere.
News OK, Oklahoma's website.
Thanks for staying with us here on News OK TV. Now it's time for March Madness, and that means fans have their eyes glued to the hardwood. But one Big 12 player was getting attention for a different reason. Baylor's Brittany Griner was suspended for some rough actions on the basketball court. The Oklahomans Barry Trammell and Jenny Carlson talk about the player's punishment and whether it was harsh enough.
Jenny Carlson. Brittany Griner slugged a Texas Tech player and got 2 games suspension. Is that nearly enough?
I say no. I say Brittany Griner should have been canned for the rest of the season. I'm Barry Trammell. This is Press Row from the Pubco Studios at Britton and Broadway. And Jenny, basketball is a physical game. People are emotional, they retaliate, they do things out of their head. But making a fist and popping somebody in the face with a roundhouse is not just over the line, it's way over the line. I would have suspended Brittany Griner for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I thought the 2-game suspension was way under what it should have been as well. She gets 1 game without any question because she hauled off and socked somebody and got ejected from the game. So 1 game is a for sure by rule. So it's really she got suspended for 1 game. She got a 1-game suspension for breaking the nose of a Texas Tech player. It was completely uncalled for. I would have suspended her 5 games. That would have been my suspension. That basically probably leaves her out the rest of this year. And without her, Baylor's not very good. They might not win many more games, so she might have to miss some of their games next year. But to me, 5 games would have been enough. I know you think a full year or the rest of the year would have been right, but 2 games, we can agree, not nearly enough.
Well, and I am tired of, and I've heard several people have contacted me saying, making this argument, that Jordan Barncastle is somehow partly responsible for this. No, she's not. She's playing basketball. It's physical. It's rough. Watch any kind of game, and it gets that way, and nobody's hauling off, hitting anybody. I saw the game Wednesday night in Stillwater. You saw Oklahoma State, Texas A&M twice. A&M's Brian Davis got into it with a Cowboy. They got tangled up, and there was a little bit of shoving and a little bit of comeuppance, and nobody hauled off and broke anybody's nose with a fist. You can't have it in any brand of basketball. Women, men, doesn't matter. She's way over the line.
Yeah, and I think, it's interesting. We see this escalating physical play in women's basketball. I think for a long time, you didn't have this type of play where, Jordan Barncastle and Brittany Griner get kind of tied up and end up sort of pushing each other away, and then that instigated the punch. But regardless of the escalation of physical play in women's basketball, Barry, they cannot allow this sort of thing to go essentially unpunished. I mean, she's already missed her 1-game suspension, missed the end of the regular season, that last game for Baylor. She's going to sit out Baylor's first-round game against Colorado, which Baylor will probably beat. So she's basically missing 2 games that at the end of the day are fairly inconsequential. I think the Big 12 Conference dropped the ball on this as well. They allowed this to be the punishment. They said, we agree with this. We think this is enough. I think they should have taken a stronger stance. They didn't. They had a chance to do that. It's really sad that they didn't give her more games or push Baylor to give her more games. Hey, stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.
Big 12 basketball took center court in Kansas City, and our sports teams were there for all the action. Now, the tournament lasted for 5 days. News OK's Tim Money and Damon Fontenot traveled north for the big games and have all the highlights as well as analysis from our experts. The sports crew will also be traveling to various cities for the NCAA tournament to provide you with the best headlines, videos, blogs, and photos. Meanwhile, here at home, high school hoops has stolen the spotlight. If you missed any of the hoopla, you can watch it right here on newsok.com. And we definitely have everything from high school, college to Thunder. And local high school students put on their running shoes for a good cause. Hundreds of athletes hit the pavement earlier this month as part of a week-long fundraiser. News OK's Tanner Harriet was there as the runners took to the streets.
Today we are trying to raise money for the Jimmy Everest Cancer Center at OU Medical, and everybody around us is from Edmond Memorial High School, and we're just trying to raise awareness and make some few money. Everybody here is paying $15 to participate and $20 to participate and a shirt, and we're selling stuff. So that's how we personally raise money, but for Swine Week there's several events that go throughout. Last year, Swine Week personally raised $318,000. And it's just for such a good cause, and everybody in Memorial is so amazing. It's the best week of the year. I love Swine Week! Woo!
And this year, the students hope to raise $275,000 for the Jimmy Everest Center for Cancer and Blood Disorders in Children. Other fundraising events include a carnival and a live auction. Now, coming up, this tiny cube puzzles most people. I know it does me, but a group of gifted students has solved the riddle.
I can do it in a minute, 45
Who was in dinner last year? I don't know.
Will and BB by 0.1 seconds.
How they are improving on the popular 1980s toy after the break.
Hello, this is Mary. I can help you.
Hi, my grandma wants to know how to record my show.
Press the guide button on the remote.
Abuelita, toca el botón guide.
Now find your show on the screen and press record.
Ahora busca el programa en la
pantalla.
Working hard for every smile. Another reason why Cox is your friend in the digital age.
I look up to you for all the things you do. I hope to be like you someday soon. 'Cause I look
Working
up to
hard for every smile. Another reason why Cox is your friend in the digital age.
Welcome back to News OK TV. A popular toy from the 1980s has found its way into the hands of some local fifth graders. I'm talking about the Rubik's Cube. The 3x3x3 puzzle is being modified by a group of innovative and very gifted students. They say the original form simply wasn't challenging enough for them.
I can do it in a minute, 45
Who was in dinner last year? I don't know.
Will and BB by 0.1 seconds.
Our School Doll Science Academy provides challenging activities to our students. So we have started a club which is called G2 Rubik's Cube, and the students are going to be called GT Rubik's Cubers. Simply, we are teaching the students how to solve the Rubik's Cube. It helped me to teach math by the means of having fun and having a hands-on activity.
I usually solve it. I usually solve a regular Rubik's Cube this way.
And I tell you what, those little kids are little geniuses, that's for sure. Now that's all the time we have for this week. You can watch all of these videos and more online at newsok.com. And we'll be back right here next week with a fresh video lineup. See ya.